Welcome to the Women Unleashed podcast. It has been a little interlude since our last episode. I'm your host, Britt Furlanis, and today we have the beautiful, amazing, loving Emma Lesley Baker. She is the feminine energetics mentor that I have been working with this year, and it's why she's come to the podcast because I've invited her to to share her work with more people. Like I really want to share it with more women, um, and because I feel so passionately about and deeply about what I have discovered for myself and the achievements and progress that I have made this year is just I could talk to you for hours about it. But today we are having a conversation about the upcoming container that Emma is going to share with us. And we're going to explore. A, we're going to explore it. We're going to have one of those flowy conversations, aren't we, Emma?
Yeah, we're just going to flow.
Great. Well, thank you. Thanks so much for being here. So, yeah, what would you like to say about your upcoming container, and then we'll kind of go dive into it.
Love this. I love that you're just like, let's talk about it so that we can get the message into the world and what you've got upcoming. And I just feel so much gratitude for your support. Oh, my puppy's eating my underwear. That is fine. Can I have him?
Do you need to go deal with that? Great.
Yeah, I feel so much gratitude for the way that you are in so much celebration of this work, because it's essentially the same for me. I teach what changed my life massively in many different facets and years and spaces. But I think what I want to share is that, what I would love for the conversation to be about is that anyone that listens to this, they walk away changed, from the energetics of this, and not necessarily promoting it, but actually inviting this container and the magic that it holds for any woman to actually see it as a possibility to live this way and to perceive life this way and to relate this way to the masculine and money and wealth and creation. And so, yeah, I really want to bring forth that this to me isn't about promotion, it's about invitation. And this work has absolutely changed my entire life, and it really closed the gap between a reality I dreamt of and a reality that I live, but more so who I've become and how I'm treated, which I believe as women is such a drive for us. Like, we just long to experience ourselves so fully softened and open and receptive and safe. And yeah, that's what I'm most passionate about with this work.
What I'm present to is the and why I love this work, your work, is because if ever I'm stuck or things aren't working or I'm not sort of making progress in the direction, it's all got to do with how, like, I can do something about it. Like, and it's not even like a doing a physical thing. It's like, okay, like, where am I making a judgment or fixed or holding on to it? Or how can I like loosen up my mind space or relax my mind space or like let go of something, or how can I surrender? And it's all within my control. And I have felt like in the past, it's funny, I say it's all within my control, even though like it's all about not controlling anything. But I have projected a lot in the past. Like, it's out there, it's somebody else's responsibility or problem to deal with why my life isn't working.
Yes. Well, I feel like,
Yeah.
what you're sharing, that's so beautiful. And I see you so deeply in that. And I relate. It's like I was in this experience where, essentially what I teach and what Neil is, which is my 9-month container for worship, essentially, to experience it in life. And I, had this experience where if I wanted to surrender, it was like an ache inside of me that was like, I could see where I was controlling, where I was like contracted, and that showed up back. That language wouldn't have been something I understood, but it was like I would feel really uptight and controlling, and I just didn't know how to communicate. And I always knew that I really desired to trust. Surrender would have been trust to me back then. I would have been like, I really just want to be able to trust my man, trust that I can do this, trust that I can have this, right? But all of the energy of control stopped me from being able to receive so much of what I desired, and also stopped me from being the woman that like was able to receive it, right? Like, and
Mm.
there's so much emphasis on surrender and letting go and all these pieces. And so I kept trying, but it actually had me, I find, hold on to more control and become more contracted and become more in my mind and more judgmental of myself. It's like the more I tried to surrender externally and put the responsibility on my ex-partner, it was like the more I was trying to get him to be a certain way so I could finally receive it, right? And I find that so many women now are similar to us, are just like, I'm ready to let go and not lead and control so much and manage so much. But with that desire, it's actually polarizing more control, more judgment, more resentment, more, right? Because it's like, I want this so bad. Why don't you give it to me? Why can't I have it? Like, why am I not enough?
Mm.
And
And
it's
it's
like
a
what you said.
projection again of like that you, Emma, need to give me something.
Yeah.
Like I've got to, like there's something to get rather than you actually lead us into ourselves of and getting it from ourselves.
Yes, exactly. It's so interesting, right? It's like when we go into this space where it's actually clean surrender, you realize that expectation, entitlement externally, force, like all of those things are never actually going to create happiness or joy, because everything is essentially is like transaction. Even with a man, it's like,
Mm.
oh, surrender when I can trust you, right? And it's like, but that's not how it actually works. Yes, on a level
Mm.
of logic, that makes sense, but the body speaks a different language than the mind, right? So
Yeah,
when you
it's not
start,
an energetic.
like, mm,
Mm. Mm. Sorry, I cut you off. You go.
no, you're right, right? No, you go. It's
Yeah, I
fine.
was just, it's just not an energetic that resonates like um waiting for somebody to do something is on a different frequency um as someone who's just operating and living their life. So like the woman waiting for the man to show up a particular way without communicating that is on a different frequency than the man just like living his life and having a good life and doing his thing. Like it's not going to ever happen.
Mm, mm,
Mm.
it's so true. Yeah, and I believe that those, like you shared, like the different frequency levels, like that translates for women in business. They're not willing to get on their knees and open, but because they're not in safe enough spaces or in the realization of what it actually means to let go, to actually receive in life your desires, wealth, the clients, the relationship, the partner, the home, the safety. It's like, in order for us to do that, and that's why this is called kneel. For me, I believe as a woman, humility is our greatest North Star. And it's like, if you're willing to get on your knees in humility and equally own your power and also your shadows, and you can like release the masks, the pride, the force, the control, you receive everything, because you become like literally neutrality essentially. You're not trying to
Mm.
control anything, you're not trying to force, you're just saying, this is me on my knees. I'm open, I'm sorry, I'm thankful, I'm grateful, right? Like you are a channel for humility. That's truth.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that to me is a match to everything you desire, because you're not trying to force it. You're not saying, I am enough to get it. You're just saying, like, this is just who I am. It's rather than what I want, it's
Mm.
who I am. And when
Mm.
women try and lead men and say, this is what I want from you, right? Or this is what you have to give me, you're not a match to it, because you're actually saying, like, I need this from you in order to experience this, rather than actually getting on your knees and saying, well, this is just actually who I am. Like, this is a need
Mm,
because of who I am, not because I need it from you, because it's who I am. Does that make sense?
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, at the end of the last container that I was in with you, you led us and said, like, actually get on your knees and,
Yeah.
showed us what that looked like or described it. And even when you talk about it, I have this like, oh, like this pull to want to get on my knees.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
when I do it, like I feel this energy running from like the top of my like those hip bones, those dimples in your back, and I can feel it just run all the way down the back of my neck. And I even like take my hair away from the back of my neck, so my neck is open, and I feel like that's the most vulnerable like a position, is to have a bare neck to something that you cannot even see. And
Yeah.
I do that when have those urges. I just do it, and sometimes often it's in the morning when I'm like waking up and I'm like, oh, I can feel what something I'm carrying or holding on to something, or at the end of the
Yeah.
day, and I just sort of do that, and I can just feel it. I don't even need to know what it is, or have attachment to I'm gonna let go of X today. It's just like,
Yeah.
oh, just let it go.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I, it's such a sacred position. And to me, it's like, yeah, I have this experience when I'm on my knees and I'm kneeling and I, you know, be in that position. It's like there's no force, there's no fight. And to me, it's about God. It's like I'm in
Yeah.
this sense of energetic helplessness, but equally power, because anything that, especially, I'm mainly speaking about when I can feel myself trying to control something, or I'm afraid of something,
Mm,
or in business I'm expanding and I don't know how to hold it. It's like all these things that the old me used to go and strategize and figure out and control and manage and make sure I'm safe. It's like, actually, now when I get on my knees, it's just like I hand it to God, and I know that I don't have to hold it. It's like I don't
mm,
have to force something that's for me. I also don't have to micromanage it. I don't need to covertly lead it. I don't need to control it. What's for me is going to always stay. So if I'm controlling something, I'm actually resisting receiving it, right? Which is
mm,
contrary to what we show up as. It's like I can look
mm.
like I'm trying to control something to stay, but that's actually me not receiving it, even if it's there. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
business. And so when we get on our knees, it's just like, okay, I trust that I can let all of this go and I'm going to receive it all. And if I don't, then I trust that something even better is going to fill its space.
Mm, yeah. I'm just thinking about that in my current situation. And I, yes, I have experiences where I want to make as much money this week as I did last week, so there'll be like, I could feel that contraction around like even having that want or that desire.
Mm.
And it actually stops me from taking the actions
Yeah.
that would have that show up, what I
Mm.
desire show up. So, a couple of examples that I want to share just to get it like on the court for women listening is I haven't raised the money that I need to raise yet to go and stay in Europe and ride and train for the Olympics. And I have experienced myself being the most free I've ever been to take the actions required to have that show up. And I still get stuck sometimes where I'm like, oh, I really wish, but like I've had, so many conversations with people I don't even know. I have sent an incredible number of emails to people I have and haven't spoken to, and I just keep sharing it with people. And even about So that's one example. Like I just experience a freedom in taking actions towards my goal, which
Yeah.
wasn't my experience previously. It was like, oh, this is hard. And why isn't it this way? Or why isn't it coming to me? It kind of gets stuck there.
Mm.
And then example, like just this week going, okay, well, last week I didn't work on a consulting contract that I have because I could have just gone, oh, hey, like, what are your priorities this week? Like, what do you want me to help you out with? Like, I could have just said that, but I didn't because I was like waiting for something to, like, I had an attachment to earn last week what I did the next week. And inside of this conversation, I've just gone, oh, yeah, I could have just, like, I sort of take that action, but I didn't even take that action. Whereas now I get it's like the freedom to take that action and the ease at which it comes. When you're not attached or not trying to control it or be fixed.
It's
Yeah.
like if you say, for example, we think about a partner, your man, or the man you desire to call in. It's like you've had those when you first start dating, right? Any woman will relate to this. You have your first date, you're unattached. You're just so yourself, you're radiant, you play, you dress up. Like some women may
Mm-hmm.
experience themselves as shy, but for me, it was like when I'm unattached, I'm so free. I'm just like, this is who I am, this is how I love. Like my heart's so open, I'm flirty, right? And then you start to feel as the commitment comes on, the attachments start to attach. And then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, the fear of losing them comes on board, and the I need to make sure I look a certain way in order to be loved comes on board, and the am I safe now comes on board, and these fears start to come online, and therefore you don't feel as free as you did, and you don't act the same way as you used to. You start to get less radiant. You start to become like sometimes don't take care of yourself as much, don't do your makeup like you used to, don't do these things, and then over time it's like, oh, it's his fault because he's not treating me a certain way, and it's like, well, actually no, attachment is just completely like distorting your radiance, because over time you subtly start to shift that freedom, that radiance. And it's not about weight, and it's not about it's not about anything like that, but it's a shine that happens from within when you're detached, because you are liberated inside of yourself, so you're magnetic, and so much of what you think is going to create the result of having what you deeply desire is actually usually the opposite. Like, oh, pretend to be confident.
Mm.
No, actually share your insecurities. All of a sudden you're magnetic because you're free. You're liberated, right?
Mm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
it's so true what you're saying. It's like when you are stuck in control and you are contracted in yourself and you start to let those stories control you, you act completely different. So you don't ask for the money, you don't make the sales call, you don't ask for the invitation. But when you're detached, you're just like, I am so worthy of this and so open to this. And if it's for me, it's going to come. But I'm going to move toward
Mm.
it, and I'm going to take action, and I'm going to be excited about every single part of this, even if it's not about the result, it's about the way that you actually live in your truth.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Like in
Yeah.
relationship, it's not about
Mm.
if he finally marries me, it's about actually experiencing the fullness of love that is right in front of you. And then the more you do that, the more he's like, oh my God, like I just want to claim this woman because she's just actually giving me life. And
Yeah.
then a man's in his
Yeah.
body, woman's in her, right? Like it's just a completely different way to live.
Mm. Yeah. It's so delicious and yummy. And I just love how things show up inside of it. And I particularly love when uh, my man shares things with me that like he's never shared before. And I'm like, oh, I know. I was like, what have I? Sometimes I'm unaware of what I've like shifted or let go of within myself that has him say that. But I'm like, I don't really care. I like it, like I don't care what it was. Like I used to be fixed on trying to find that thing so I could replicate it. And now I'm just like, you
Yeah.
know what? Doesn't matter. He shared it. It's awesome. I'm grateful for it. And like, yeah, let's move forward. um,
Oh. That makes me
and
happy.
I will share one specific thing that happened uh 2 days ago. So I gave him a kiss and I was like, you smell like truffles. And he's like, yeah, it's because you're ovulating. And I was like, okay,
Tell us.
okay. And then yesterday we spoke about it more, and I was like, yeah, I started asking myself a little while ago. I didn't share it with you, but I was like, you don't always smell like truffles or taste like truffles when I kiss you. So like I started inquiring in my own self, like, why does this happen like only sometimes? And then he's known this for years that when I say you smell like truffles, it's when I'm ovulating. And then I just become like this really like you could say horny woman that's just like, oh, you smell like truffles, and like running my fingers through his hair. And he has this game that he plays with me. So he's disclosed all of this in the last day, this game that he plays with me when this happens, where he like, and it's fun. Like tries to play hard to get and like all this, and he shared this all with me. And I was like, you've been playing this game for 5 years, like, and I've not even been aware of my how I work, and realizing that you're smelling different means that I'm ovulating.
Oh.
It's so cute. And I'm like, I don't know why he shared that with me. And I said to him, I was like, why did you share this with me now? Like, why didn't you keep it a secret? Like, clearly it's a fun game that you've been playing because we're laughing so much about it now.
Yeah, yeah.
But, and he didn't, there was no real answer to it really. It was just like, it was just fun, and it brought us closer together.
Oh,
So yeah.
I love that. You're connecting to your cycles.
Yes, yes. Because I don't really track my cycle because I have a Kylina, which is a smaller version of the Marina. So
Yeah.
I don't really have like bleeds that often or that long, or so I'm just like, whatever. But now I'm like,
Mm.
okay, there's another indicator. It's
Mm.
truffles. And I love truffles. Like aside from him smelling like truffles, I love truffles.
Oh, I love that. Mm. Mm.
So good.
Mm.
I'm just trying to think. That's definitely an experience of what's possible, ladies. Having your truffle moment with your man.
Ah.
Have you ever had
Oh.
that happen before, Emma?
Um, Not truffle. With my man, when I'm ovulating, I'm just unhinged. I'm just so, smell is a huge thing for me. Like, if I'm
Mm,
ovulating, I just want to smell, and I can smell so much more. Um,
mm,
than when I'm in luteal or when I'm in my follicular. Like, I'm just, I love it. But honestly, I'm kind of always like that. So not really. I'm just a lot in my ovulation, in a different sense,
mm,
more aliveness. Um,
mm,
yeah.
Interesting. Yep, it's a whole new world opening up for me. So very cool.
Mm.
Um, what else would you like, or do you have any questions that you want to ask me that would like forward this conversation of your 9 month container of Neil? Like, and I'm thinking of questions to ask you.
um, I don't know what I'd ask you about Neil.
I will share something because it's right
Mm.
there. I've noticed that in the last 2 weeks, so give to give our listeners a bit of like geographical context, right now I'm in Budapest and you're in Brisbane, and I'll be in Europe until. Are you in Brisbane, actually?
Yeah.
Yes, you are. Good, because you were just recently traveling. Uh,
Yeah.
and I'll be here till the end of July. And the first couple of weeks we stayed with some friends of Nathan's. And I, when they're around, I was like, I'm just like next level great with him and them. And being this great human being came really easily to me. And I saw the difference between where I usually act and behave with him and where great was, which was how I was being, like I was just like doing the dishes, cleaning the house, like freely making dinner, freely cleaning up. Whereas usually I'd like make dinner and then have this expectation that he would have to clean up the dishes. And just things like that, like judgments and expectations and layers that would kind of go in there and start making things real chalky and ugh. And I can now experience them as very ugh, rather than because I've experienced being just really great and free and loving. And so this week that we've been in Budapest since leaving the last friend we were staying with, like, okay, I'm going to take on being great whilst they're not here, because that's actually that felt really beautiful and authentic, and I want to be a great human being. Like that's the kind of level of human being that I can see there's for me to go next, which is just this absolute peace and loving and joy. And I've just had a great time like setting that intention for myself this week. It's been amazing. Like, and I've just never haven't succeeded at all points. And when I've sort of like dipped down or Nathan's said something to me, I've taken a bit of a moment and gone, okay, like, and I've sort of brought myself back onto the path. And I'm really proud of myself for one, setting that intention and seeing the difference of what great actually looks like. And like I feel like I've, like a student at school, developed, like got runs on the board, got practice on the board this week without people being around, because I think there is a part of, you might call it like identity, or sometimes I call it machinery, that is like, oh, be on your best behavior when other people are around. And instead of using that, um, previously I would just kind of stop there and go, oh, well, other people were around. But I've actually kind of like flipped it on its head and used it as a way to forward myself and who I am as a human being. Yeah.
I love that. Tell me about the great woman. What does she do?
She offers a drink of water or something to whoever's around, like she does things without being asked, or if I'm doing something for myself, I will offer that for the people around me. Or if I can see, like I just read the situation and have that experience of when well, I'm about to say the same thing as Nathan, like, oh, um, my towel's hanging up in the other room. I'll just be like, oh, would you like me to go get that for you? Like, because
Mm.
he's in the shower wet, like not making him run out and try and get it, or not even having to have him ask for it. It's like I can feel or hear that there's something about that, you know? And so it's just like, just being a delight to be around. And
Aw.
it doesn't feel um like I'm trying to people please him. It doesn't feel like I
Mm-mm.
am, putting someone else's needs ahead of my own. I feel actually quite free to be like, I want to do this today. Would you like to do this with me? And I'm like, excited about. He's like, yeah, cool, no worries, because who I'm being is this delightful marshmallow of a
Yeah.
person. Like, yeah,
Oh, that must be me.
yeah, it is. It is really yummy. Yeah, it's beautiful. So,
Oh,
yeah. Mm.
I love
So
that, babe. I'm so happy. I
thanks.
am. I'm so
Thank
happy
you.
for you. Even like
And they're
watching your
just
posts and stuff and the way you communicate, you're just like, you got the penguin vibe going on, and it's so beautiful.
the penguin vibe. What's that?
Oh, I always call the sub the penguin. It's like the gooey. I don't know. I'm just like
Oh,
I
yeah.
call when I'm in like my big. It's just so I used to. It's because penguin is like really subby because when somebody embodies a bear, it's like they eat penguins. So I it's hard to explain, but just like penguin to me means like super subby, like gooey. I always like do a penguin emoji, and I'm like, meow. I don't know, it's just a penguin to me, but that's how I say it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
logic to it. Just the penguin.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
logic. It's just my
Yeah.
joke said externally.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Great. And I wanted to share that too, because I think it's such a great example of how through working with you, I'm empowered to play these sorts of games with myself to up level myself.
Mm.
Um, because I can just notice different ways of behavior without the judgment, like taking that away and just going, okay, cool. Well, that's a big thing that I have got from you is like, real, oh my God, remember how many holes and judgment holes I got stuck down of, or islands stuck on, and that's just been such a huge
Mm.
part of uh, now what I'm able to do is play these sort of beautiful games with myself to be a really great human being and go in the direction of my dreams and desires and
Oh,
yeah. Mm. So
oh,
thank you.
happy. You're so welcome. It was such a gift working with you and witnessing your expansion and your detachments and your magic rising and just you as a woman. You're so beautiful and so lovely.
I feel so giddy now.
Melty.
Woo.
So what are some like and just take your time, but if you were to
Mm,
think of genuine curious questions you are about me and like even if it's super vulnerable, I don't care, just like
yeah.
anything that you're just like curious about in the way that my journey's
Mm.
been or the work that I do or the way that I perceive something or anything's happened to me, like what, let's make it juicy, like what do you want to know?
Yeah. So, how do you up level yourself? Like, how do you keep yourself like because you're like at this amazing level of development within yourself. Um, how do you keep up leveling? Do you or if you or what does that look like for you?
Oh, I like this. So up leveling meaning like, yeah, I get what you mean, just like expanding
Mm.
and like
Yeah. Yeah.
becoming. Mm.
Yes.
um So interesting. So, years ago, when I used to think about developing, creating more, having more, I would really go to how can I change myself, if that makes sense? Like, okay, like what identity do I need to embody, and like how would that woman walk? And there's truth to that for sure because it's just such a cool way to be able to play with, the avatars that we are. But then equally it's not really how I expand and create more and create more income and open to more love and stuff. Honestly, if I was to be so real, it's the more humble I become and the more honest I become and the more that I communicate that with the world, the more that I receive and the better things
Hmm.
get. It's like the more that I've been able to like actually just expose how I really feel and my true deep fears and my love and my gratitude and my awe and like the more that I've done those things and really come home to myself, the more that my external reality has shifted like wildly. And I realize that I don't really need to be more than what I just am to create and have everything I want. Like I could go into, okay, what is, and okay, this is speaking on nuance, right? Because say, for example, there's also another part of me that I would say, okay, if I wanted to create, multiple six figures per month in business, obviously just saying like, how am I feeling is not going to create that. That's more like, okay, well, what level of management? I would change how much my pricing is and those sort of things. But honestly, what comes first always, and that those parts feel easier and easier and easier when I'm actually just home in myself. And I don't feel like I need to develop in order to receive. I don't feel like I need to be confident to receive my man. I don't feel like I need to be anything different. And I'll use relationship as such a big pinnacle because it is the same as everything. How we relate to love is how we relate to business, is how we relate to friends, and how we receive as women. Receptivity is just a whole, just the different things we receive look differently, right? Money, love, connection, a home, like it's all receptivity. It's all actualizing something we desire. And so if I look at my relationship with my partner and I realize that actually I just need to get really true with my desires, I need to feel my feelings, I need to have emotional maturity, I need to expose the truth of who I am and my values and my fears, and not just like at once at a Sunday meeting, right? Like book in the meeting on a Sunday and let's speak about where our shadows are, what we need to do, what we need to improve on, what we're missing this week. What do you mean? Like, no. I don't save Sundays to be who I am. I'm not telling you Sunday, the Monday insecurity I had, like, or the things
Oh
that I
my
perceived
God.
wrong.
And
Like,
can I just pause you there? Like, because this is what I do or did was wait till the personal development program or
yeah,
wait to the session with Emma or like, yes.
right. And so it's like when we do that, it's just not true. It's like if it's not in the moment, it's not. There's moments, but you get what I mean. And
Hmm.
so when I look at love as a reflection of me developing and becoming more and being able to hold more, the more that I'm actually true and I honor that and I communicate that with respect and love and honor for the masculine, the more I'm just provided for in money. It's like I'm not afraid of myself because all of my fears as a woman, and I can genuinely say that a lot of women have the same fears, relay in being seen vulnerably in relationship with the masculine. And it's like if you actually go into the fear of being abandoned and say, I'm afraid of you're going to leave right now, and you cry and you're held, like chances are you're not going to be afraid to ask for 50K tomorrow because you've got nothing to be afraid of anymore, right? Like it
Mm,
just translates. So
mm,
my way of developing is by actually undeveloping
mm.
the masks, the
If,
fear, the resistance. Yeah,
yeah, look, if the beautiful women listening to this don't have time to listen to anything, the last 4 minutes of this episode is the most valuable, like by far. My eyes just like started watering up because what you just said is also the same thing, and I can finally hear it now. The same thing
yeah,
that Nathan's been telling me, like it's just different language and
yeah.
ready to receive it, and he models that, and now and I can see that that's what he's doing, and I'm like, as you were talking, I was like, oh my God, that's it, that's it, like it's yeah, like it just yeah, I I don't know, yeah.
And it's
Mm,
you're so beautiful, and I love you,
mm,
and I'm so grateful you're bringing your tender vibes. Bring them in.
mm,
Let's hold them in because it's confusing out there, right? It's like women are taught like package yourself in this perfect package, be this certain something, control yourself so deeply that you look this certain way that actually you lose who you actually are. And then you become afraid of your emotions, your tenderness, your fears. They're all shamed, right? You've got to
Mm,
be this, you've got to be this expression that's perfected, but then you actually lose everything you've ever wanted, because there's no sense of openness in that, and there's so much suffering, and I've been
mm,
there. I It's what's scary about the self-development world. It's like constantly, how
mm,
do you be more? How 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 do you do more? How do you have more? And actually, it's like, is that God really intended for you? If you've got to keep changing yourself in order to receive, and you become so far from yourself that you don't know who you are, but that's normalized because then you can just create something
mm,
else. But to
mm,
me, actually, when you go into the simplicity, and I did like 15 years of self-development before I got into the work that I teach now, and I did it, and I felt disconnected from myself in all of those years.
mm.
Like,
Yeah.
they were all a part of me. Everything that I learned in expressing my emotions and the feminine spaces and everything, they were parts of me, but I wasn't home. Like, I wasn't just able to be in my center and say, oh, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm fearing, this is what I'm experiencing. And not just relay those things, but be with those things and express those things in a way that it was safe for me, for the masculine, for my daughter, for my business, right? And that is a woman that is unstoppable. She's on her knees. She's got nothing to fear
Mm,
when you can
mm,
do that, right? But when there's all these
mm.
masks that are offered and we pay for, there is complete disconnect from truth, because we're saying, I can't just experience it with being who I am.
Yeah. The way that what's coming through to me to say that is like, well, why would the universe create you any other way than the way that it create? Sorry, why would the universe have created you and then needed you to be another way or change or fix something about you? Like, that's just not how it works. Like, you're put on this earth exactly the way that you're put on this earth. You don't need to
Yeah.
fix or change or
Right.
be any other way.
And it's so different to say, okay, I'm going to go put on the identity of the entrepreneur and become one and be in the identity, or just, this is who I am, and today I feel like wearing a skirt. Like,
Mm.
right? It's like a difference. And for me, it's what you said about with God is so true to me, and that's how I live. It's just like, I just want to be what God intended of me, and that's my purity, my heart, my desires, my needs. They're all worthy. My fears, my insecurities, like, they are all what God intended for me, and I don't need to shame any of them. And I don't need to also say that I need to now become something else in order to be loved. It's like, actually, if I was true and God's love existed for me in this moment, right? And it does, and I know it does because I feel it. It's like, God's loving me. Hey, thank you, God. God's like, wow, yes, right? Like, God's loving me in this moment as I am, and also would say, yes, you can still be fed. Yes, like, your needs are worthy. Yes, you're enough. Yes, you can have what you desire and feel safe and secure in your home, and you can receive money because that's a transaction in this reality that's important, right? Like, God would just sit with me and say, let me look after you. And I know that.
Mm,
So
mm,
why would I feel like I need to go and take Sarah's seminar to become something that is developed in order to receive those things? That makes no sense to me. And it was actually a
mm,
dangerous perception when I lived that, because I had transactional relationships where I had to be something in order to be loved, and that was genuine. Whereas now I have a
mm,
relationship where I'm treated like God would treat me, and that's because I let
mm,
God love me.
mm. Yeah. I think that often, like, you're not the only one. Like, I know at least probably a handful of people that get this, and I have just gotten it for the first time today, really. And it's not like those people who choose to do program, like to provide programs like yourself. Um, I mean, it's a very delicate, nuanced, like, perspective or view or understanding or comprehension of one's own existence, that it is very clear to me how someone who could have as genuine and pure intentions as you to deliver a program have people coming at them with contexts of I need to change or develop myself, and they do a program from that context and leave the program still thinking that they need to develop themselves as something that they weren't already put on this earth, like as an inauthentic way of being. So, yeah. Wow.
Yes. And you know, in that context, which I love what you shared, it's so true. It's like, it's perception. You can go into, you could change someone's world even listening to this and say, you could do any program and not go in with that mindset and receive so much value, right? It's like, because
Yeah.
everything is an expression of who we are, but you're not going into it to feel like you need to become that in order to receive something or be worthy of something. And what's alive for me is like, you know, there are, it's just like some people are in love through trauma and through the way that they believe that they have to be treated or the way that they were treated when they were, you know, kids and stuff like that. It's like there's also mentors that are teaching through trauma, that are teaching, like, I hate men and now boundary men, and this is something I want to teach is women to boundary, right? And that's because they're actually afraid of men. And there's no wrong. I actually went and experienced so many of these things, right? Like I was like, and I do believe there is a space in a journey where so much is valid and so much is needed. But it's understanding that if it doesn't feel like you are coming home to who you are in your purest essence, it's taking you away from it. And when you're
Mm.
taken away from that place, you're performing in order to receive. And when you're performing in order to receive, you're burnt out. You're not walking in faith. There's no God that is connected to the work. Whether spirit God, I'm not Christian, but it's like spirit God, like whatever that is to
Some
you, that means,
higher
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
to me, it's
Mm.
just faith. And when we believe that we need to perform in order to receive, we're not walking with something higher. We're not walking with something deeper. So it's all surface level and nothing ever actually reaches the space that we're investing for.
Mm. I'm just filled with, I don't even know how to describe what this is, but it's occurring as like constant watering of my eyes, like just this deluge of peace and love and joy and gratitude that I'm experiencing for having this conversation with you and that we get to share it to the world. Like, what a special thing for women. It's amazing.
All
Yeah.
right. Oh,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
really special.
it is really
Mm.
special. And these are the things that I believe. Honestly, if I listened to this conversation in the last 10 minutes, 20 minutes, when I was 18, it would have changed my world. Like
Yeah.
I would have come to God. I would have just let go of all of that, the things that I felt like. And it's the same as me. I'm like having remembrances as I speak. It is so deeply how I live, but equally it's like when you speak it, it feels even more right every time I speak the words and I connect to it, you know? And
Mm.
honestly, this to me is kneel. It's like I'm actually on my
Mm.
knees to God. And I'm actually choosing that the values of me as a woman that God placed for me with my heart, with my intentions, with my energy, and also inclusive of my grand desires, my living, my wealth. Like I believe they were equally seated as value for me. But there's a different way that I live, and I want women to know just how I've created now that this is like,
Mm.
it is more than possible because I live it, but it's a completely different experience of yourself and you sleep at night. And not just that, I want women to go to bed cherished by their men, and men can only cherish a woman that cherishes herself. And she is in that
Mm.
part of herself, right? Like I
Mm.
used to long to be treated how I now experience myself. And I could not experience that without coming home to it, regardless of how much I was trying to lead my man to lead me or lead, right? It's like, this
Mm.
is something that's so deep within us, but it also shifts men on a cellular level when they can experience a safety in a woman that is connected to humility and love and the essence of purity,
Mm,
right? Like you're just safe. You're safe because you're safe in yourself because you want a safe life and you're protected. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so
yeah.
hard,
And it,
but your whole world changes. And it's just true.
what's coming through for me now is like if you want your man to be unleashed in the world, if you want your man to like be wildly successful or adventurous or just cut loose in whatever he's great at or doing whatever he was doing when you met, then do this work. Be that woman
Yeah.
for yourself. Be safe because he will experience that. He then won't operate from this world of like obligation or got to provide or, like and that's the power that we as women have and influence over the men that we're in relationships with. And
Huge.
yeah,
But can you
yeah.
imagine the spaciousness of a man? Like, my man took me away last weekend and paid for everything and planned everything, and it was the most divine experience. But even when we first got in the car from the airport, like he was buying coffee, and I was like, "Would you like may I pay for it?" or like something like that, permissively. And he's like, no way. And I said to him, like, I know that I just so respect you and the provider, but I just always want you to know that it's not expected from me that you pay for anything ever. And that is so important for me to hold as a woman because I'm not entitled to my man's money, even for coffee. I'm not. And that's genuine. I
Mm,
genuinely feel that. And so many women are of this value that if I want to be a woman that's provided for, I got to expect it to receive it. No, you don't. You push it away because it's not actually received, it's entitled. And that's not women's fault for being in that because it's really being taught that in order to have it, hold it as a standard and then boundary it, right? But that's actually
mm,
holding the frequency of you're a slave to give me my desires of a man, and a man is not a slave to a woman's desires. And that, like, when we get on our knees, we release entitlement because it's just the truth. I'm not entitled to anything in this world. Your time right now, I'm not entitled to my my home. I'm not entitled to anything. But when you embody that, you then receive everything as all because you're like, oh my God, I'm not
mm,
entitled to it, but I'm receiving it. What do you mean? Like, I'm
mm,
not expecting it, but you're doing it. What do you mean? Right? And my man, like, I've never experienced someone with the provision that he has, but I don't expect any of it one day a week, which means every day a week is a miracle to me.
mm. Yeah.
Right? And
Yes,
how many people are
yes,
teaching
yes.
to boundary your standards, boundary your desires, boundary being provided for if you want to be feminine. It's like that's not feminine, that's covert manipulation.
Mm, yeah, stories. Stories.
And I was there,
Yeah,
it's pure innocence,
yep,
but it doesn't
me too.
fire.
Yeah, amazing. So, just trying to think if I have any other questions.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about what it looks like for you to work and rest? Because you have sort of shared that a bit about how you rest quite a lot, and um, because when you're like, I don't know how you say it, you've got a transition coming through, like that's quite like, it takes a lot of energy. And um, what who's asking this question is like the Brit that wants to know, um, or identify, or like within myself, how to nurture myself better, like how to restore, like better, but how to restore, know when to restore and like, yeah, like really be respectful of my energy. Yeah.
So you're talking about like when I facilitate and get into the channel, you mean that part? Like
Yes,
how,
yes, yeah, that part, that, and then how you rest, like
yeah, love
after
this.
that, and yeah, yeah.
So I was speaking to one of my clients actually this afternoon. We had a call, and she's experiencing, I won't say what she's experiencing, but the conversation essentially was similar to this. And I shared with her that I spend 90% of my human and I spend 10% superhuman. But the 90% that I allow myself to be human, which means rest, watch movies, like chill out, like I'm not trying to develop, like it warranted in times, like there's times where I'm just resting, and I do really consume and like marinate in so much of feminine work, like whether it's podcasts, whether it's my mentors, whether it's like if I'm gonna learn, I go straight to feminine. It's just like I am marinating in the field, like.
And
But
when you say you go straight to
mm,
feminine,
mm.
um, as in podcasts and mentors, as in you go to listen to podcasts that are of feminine, yeah,
I'm learning, I'm reading
yeah.
poetry, I'm working with my
Mm.
mentors tangibly, I am watching trainings that I've done in the past with, like, I just, for the past like 10 years, my obsession has been just exploring different parts of the feminine inside of myself. So I definitely do nourish myself by feeding my desires in that. And I don't
Mm.
put any energy into things that so many do because it doesn't feel right to me. For example, I know very little about the world. I mean, I'm getting a lot better, but there's been 9 years where I actually sacrificed knowing so much of what was happening in so many ways because I was actually just feeding my soul in what I was actually called to feed it with, right? And there's so
Mm.
many people that feel like they need to take in information of things that actually their soul is saying, you don't need that information. Like, it's might be
Mm.
humiliating in moments because you know a lot less, but in the field of what I teach and what I live and the transpersonal connection I have, I'm masterful because I literally have chosen mastery in it, right? Like, so
Mm.
there's that. Like, I'm obsessed and it shows.
Mm.
And I've
Mm.
learnt so much and I've lent in so much. But honestly, I spend like outside of that, I spend 90% of my time just being very human. I no longer try to change my family, facilitate my family, heal bloodlines. Like, I'm with my grandma and we're talking about the beach. And I'm with my dog and I'm playing with the dog. And I'm with my daughter and we're drawing. And I'm right, like I'm not trying to be godly and facilitate the world, which means that when I'm on, like I leave my mastery for where it's called for, and that's my facilitation of my channel. I don't try and channel
Mm.
and transmit where actually it's not being received. And I think that that's
Mm.
often where people fall short. It's like they have a desire to change the world, and it's not actually where they're called to change. They're called to chill. Right? So when I am called,
Yes.
that was really funny. When I am
Yeah.
called, like I am on. Yeah, that's how. But lots of chill, lots
Yeah.
of relaxing, lots of
I love
embodiment
that.
practices, living. Mm,
Mm. Mm. So good. Explains for me why I, 'cause in my past roles, when I was employed and even in the fields that that I still operate in now, like in the energy industry, like it's a very worldly industry. Like there's lots of news going on about it. And very early
yeah.
on, I was like, there is so much news about this industry, like gas development, LNG. Like, there is no way that I could conceivably consume the amount of news and be up to date with the news. Like, it's
Mm,
not possible. But beyond that, my experience of myself trying to get across the news was hard and like sandpaper, like just felt like oh
mm,
um and like so it sort of just makes sense for me. Like it's like actually I don't like that's not where I'm called to be masterful in. And when I drop that, like I'm okay to be humble and like not know something or ask a question to find out rather than try to not
Yes.
know all the news. Um, and whereas Nathan, on the other hand, he is like this like incredible brain that just like loves that kind of thing. So he updates me on things that are happening and he's really
Yeah,
enthusiastic
my
about
partner,
it. And
babe, they teach, they're in the brain. And they go on the brain.
yeah,
They could just learn
yeah,
so much. That's very much
yes,
like,
yeah. Um, and that's absolutely okay. And now I can kind of see why that was the way it was for me. So that's super cool. Thank you.
and the women that are called to be in the spaces of education.
For who's listening, I really should post the video of this podcast too because your puppy is just the most cutest thing right now. Like, you can literally see his face squished in the transparent, what do you call it? Juice,
The
whizzer
glass.
container, the glass. Yeah, that is beyond cute. Okay, that's definitely going on. Uh,
Ralph, can you That's so funny.
Oh
Oh
my gosh,
God.
I love it.
He's so
Love it,
cute.
love it,
Okay,
love
so sorry.
it.
I'm a dog mum. It's really important that my dog is he's obviously thirsty.
It is.
Oh, I love
I've
you.
been a dog
Yeah,
mum. Yeah, I really get that.
that honestly changed me. Like I there were many years where I honestly felt like I needed to have an answer to everything and also like help everyone.
Mm,
And when I was like that,
mm,
my channel became so distorted because I just, was really doing things for myself, not for the other person. And, for example,
yeah.
like if I was to be informed by the world, I was doing it because I was afraid of being judged, right? Rather than actually being informed for the betterment of humanity or the betterment of what I could do with that information or whatever it is. And similarly around
Yeah.
family, it's like
Yeah.
when I was mentoring them and doing all those things, it was only for my own needs and desires, not for them, because there's actually nothing
Mm,
wrong with how people are. They're okay with it, and it's not up to us to change someone else's self in order to think that it's better, right? So humility, honestly,
mm,
like we said before, humility in every single way transformed everything, and it gets me in the God zone every time. Like, humility is the
mm,
greatest path to your channel because you can also show up
mm,
and facilitate or be in conversation when you're humble and go, I'm not trying to get anything here. I'm not trying to perform anything. I'm not trying to be better than you. I'm not trying to take anything, but I just trust what's coming through me. And then you're just like, it's God's zone.
mm. Yeah. Love it. I feel like this is the pause, and this is where like we complete this episode because
Stunning.
it's just so stunning. Yeah, so
It's
beautiful.
so full.
Um,
So full.
yeah, yeah, really full. And can you please let our beautiful ladies know, or even if you're a man of a lady, where you want to let your lady know, if they want to work with you or how to, learn more about you or get in contact.
Yay. Message me my Neil, the thing that we've kind of transmitted the essence of in this
Hmm.
conversation. Begins at the end of July, which is very exciting. And there's a few spaces left. And we are we're going God zone in desires, in life, in wealth, in relationship to provision with the masculine. Like, we are emptying entitlement, expectation, control, oh my gosh, identities, so much that keeps us from just being in full receptivity to the magic. And that goes for 9 months. And I have
You can have a
masculine
baby in
facilitators.
that time.
Yeah, exactly. I have male facilitators coming once a month to facilitate. I have a retreat with men that are going to be helping. Yeah, it's going to be all hands on deck, and it's going to be miraculous.
OMG. That is
Mm.
amazing. That is really juicy.
Right? So juicy. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And
Yeah.
where are the retreats happening? Because obviously you're going to be there in person. Have you worked that
Yeah,
out
it'll
yet?
be location I haven't chosen yet, but it'll be Sunshine Coast or Gold Coast. Once I've created,
Okay.
like, once we begin, I'm going to be speaking
Hmm.
with all the women as a group, and we're going to co-create the date, which will be in the first few
Hmm.
months. And then I'll decide on. But it'll be Sunshine
Oh,
Coast or Gold Coast.
that is so Femi, like just going, yep, we'll get, as the group, we'll work it out, the dates and location. It's not like, boom, it's got to be here, get your ass there. Like,
No. Well, that never works. It's like everyone that I've done that
mm,
with, someone misses out. But I'm like, no, there's a week. I just trust God led. It's like there's a
mm,
weekend we all go, we all choose, and we all enter, and I create magic.
amazing. Oh, so good. Well, thank you, Emma Lesley Baker, for sharing this beautiful time and energy and transmission with me. I feel so much gratitude for you and for everyone listening. Please, you know, follow or share or stay in contact with the podcast because this is what we love sharing
Yeah.
and giving to you. So, all
Yeah.
my love and all my light. Goodbye.
Yeah. Thank you.